Hi everyone, today's video is going to be a little different. I'm not facing the camera for one, but essentially this is kind of a niche video targeted at a niche, well maybe not niche, DAP. This is the iBasso DX340, and what I'm going to talk about today is the third-party app or mod called Anantar Ultimate Infinity Player. And I think that there have been some requests for information on how to get it installed and what the features are. So this video is going to be all about that. So the first thing you need to do is you need to ensure that you have access to a Windows PC or an Apple PC. And what you need to do is on your device, turn on developer option, your player, your DX340. If you don't know how to do that, you need to go to settings, about phone, go to build number, tap it 7 times, and then you will see a sign that says you are now a developer. And from there, you scroll down to under developer options, scroll down to USB debugging and turn it on. And that's it. So then connect a USB-C cable to your laptop or your PC or whatever, and allow on the pop-up. Okay, and that's pretty much what you need to do on the side of the player. Now, on your PC, you need to download the Anantar Ultimate installer, which you can find on the website, and just follow the instructions, run the installer, and wait about 10 minutes. There might be a couple of prompts here and there, and then you're done. Okay, it's all set up. So this is what my player looks like. Couple of things to note. So what is Anantar Ultimate and what is Infinity Player? So essentially, the iBasso is split into 2 separate OS. So you have the Android OS, which runs kind of like off the go the moment you turn it on. And that allows you to do, all your Google stuff, like including watching YouTube, downloading apps, downloading Spotify, downloading and listening to Tidal and all that, right? But what it means is that your music goes through Android, and Android has quite a few layers that affects the sound quality, and some people find that it's not as clear as it could be or as good as could be. So the whole idea behind Anantar Ultimate is to fix that. The other OS that we have is called Mango OS. Now let me show it to you. Yeah, so there's a to boot to Mango, right? So that would be Mango OS. To make it a bit more confusing, we also have a Mango player. Okay, so the Mango player runs on Android OS, and you can click on it and go to it and just use it as you normally would. But essentially, Mango player is only for local files. Mango player and Mango OS are for local files only. You can't use Tidal on it. What Anantar Ultimate does is it allows you, it basically allows you to start using your streaming through the Mango OS. So Mango OS is essentially Linux. So it allows you, it gives you access to streaming through the Mango OS sound. So if you've been wondering what the sound of Anantar Ultimate is, essentially, if you switch to the Mango OS and you use your player, that is the basic sound. Okay, so if you're trying to figure out, what's the improvements you can get in terms of the sound quality for, if you decide to go and download the Infinity Player Anantar Ultimate thing, just go to Mango OS, listen to some of your local files, local tracks, and that will give you an idea. But that's just an idea, because what the Infinity Player does is it actually allows a lot more customization and modification for the sound. So you will have access to a lot more features than you would just in stock Mango OS. And again, as I was saying, you are also able to start streaming on the Mango equivalent of Mango OS. All right, so let's say if you have done downloading everything and you're all set up, you won't get this page anymore. You change to an Anantar Ultimate page. Okay, I just put on my own wallpaper here. So the thing you will note firstly is this thing called Magisk. So Magisk is essentially the app that allows you to do your updating and downloading of your Anantar Ultimate versions. So right now this is at version 9.6, and that's the one I'll be talking about. A version 10 will be coming out with even more features and improvements in sound, but we'll talk about that another day if we get a chance to. Okay, so right now my DAP is running on Android. I've got the usual features of Android here, but you might see there's a couple of different things here, right? But I'll get to that shortly. But if I go to Anantar Ultimate, okay, this is the Infinity player. This tab here brings me to my playlist, which I can add to it. If I have favorites, favorite playlists from Tidal, from Cobas, and all that, I can just use it and go directly to it. Okay, or you can just tap on the last button and get to Tidal or whatever, right? So it's just a couple of ways to do it. This here is local files. Okay, so it allows you to view your local music, your internal storage, and this is essentially kind of the homepage for the Infinity player. You'll get used to it. I know it can feel a bit complicated and confusing, but you can get used to it eventually, right? So the buttons for you to shortcut to various things. This would be your albums. Right, seems to be playing by itself. No, I pressed the wrong button. Okay. And there is an AI function for you to kind of create a playlist for your different moods, right? So if you tap it to refresh it, it will create a playlist based on maybe 2010s, 2020s, or whatever kind of stuff you have, but it's based on your existing playlist, so don't expect it to be pulling out any new tracks from external sources. Okay, so this tab here brings you to your kind of your customization or sound tuning, okay, or sound shaping. The top one here says Maven, but what essentially is a harmonic filter. So if you remember, your standard unmodded iBasso has 5 different harmonic filters, right? It's natural, even plus, odd, and all. So one is missing here. The missing one is the second one, H2. H2 essentially is neutral. It doesn't have any kind of filters attached to it. All right. So it's basically just not there at all. Meanwhile, these are the options that you can have. So if you tap on any of them, it just brings you to, it applies it. Okay, and how do these filters change the sound? So let me show it to you. Okay, if I go back to this, it tells you, there's a description in terms of what the sound is like. So Velvet is made for amp 18. It's a smooth, lush, velvety, warm resonance. Epitome is organic, lush, higher definition, considered to be the best, but you know, it depends on your DAP, depends on your IEM and headphone and what you are listening to, right? So you can just select anyone on the fly and change your sound and tweak it. Maven probably has the most powerful bass of the lot. It doesn't turn into a bass head player, but what it does is it just tweaks it slightly so that there's a bit more emphasis in terms of the bass. Okay, then you have the Water series, which focuses on, let's get back to this again, high resolution and crystal clarity. Okay, the Fire series is warmer ambience, dynamic and fluid, and the Sky series focuses on separations and housing resonances. So you have all these various options. Now I'm not going to go through them because, you know, it's going to take a lot of time. But essentially, you can tweak it in terms of whether you want a bit more warmth, a bit more clarity, a bit more airiness, a bit more sparkle in the treble, and a bit more resolution or transparency. And this is a Sky series, as I showed you earlier. Okay. My favorites are, depending on what I'm listening to, it can be Horizon, Maven, Sky. Sometimes I listen to Epitome too. All right, so let's get back to this. So same thing here. Now, one thing missing here, which we would like to, I would like to suggest that they add, is essentially the description of the various harmonic filters, because you can get it in the Android mode. But if you switch to Anantar Ultimate, which I'll show you in a moment, you are not going to get it. It's just going to be this buttons here for you to click on. All right. Okay, so that is harmonic filter. Now, if you think that and you would like to try your own, you can customize your own, okay? So there's an explanation at the top tab there, you can tap on it. But over here, you can select one of these existing ones and tweak it, or just create your own, okay, by changing this various filters, and you can come up with your own version, and you can save it too. So this understanding harmonic will give you instructions on what you can do about that. So I'm not going to go into it because it's probably another video for itself. All right, you can also just do system off, which turns off all the filters and brings you back to the stock filters. But then again, you can already access it to here, so there's not much point to do that, right? All right, so the other ways you can tune it is oversampling. You can do oversampling through NOS, OS, and off. I generally like to use either OS or NOS depending on whether my IEM is warm or not. So both are good. Or you can just turn it off. Off also works sometimes, depending again on what I'm listening to, right? Now the interpolation rates changes how much detail or clarity comes in through the sound. So if you prefer a more R2R or warmer, more analog sound, you might want to go with balance or even smooth. But detail, to me, I just leave it at detail. I think that is more natural. That shows you what your IEM should, or your headphone should sound like. So infinity stage. So you can see a little bracket that says reboot required. So when you tap it, that will reboot itself. You got to take about 20-30 seconds for it to be done. Yeah. So this changes the soundstage size. The bottom one, the one first on the list, studio, would be the narrowest one. So as it says, it sounds like, the music's being performed in the studio. So I find that this one has the tightest sound, the most crisp sound, but it does have a smaller soundstage. So it sounds actually excellent, but you have to deal with a smaller soundstage. So chamber goes up in terms of the size, salon and theater, right? So theater makes it sound like you are listening to music in a live setting, and you can hear it. So it can sound like a bit like the M27, the FIO M27, that kind of soundstage. And it might also sound a bit like the HD 800S soundstage-wise. So that gives you an idea of what it sounds. But I'm not a big fan of it fully, because it kind of mutes, or not mute, but it kind of reduces the attack and impact of the bass, so it becomes a bit softer in that sense, right? I generally just stick to original, unless I have an IEM that's very narrow in soundstage, then I might want to tweak it a little bit and switch accordingly. Okay, but great feature for you to have, which I think anybody can appreciate it if you are looking for something just to tweak the sounds. Okay, in terms of boot, here's another way you can tweak it. So boot allows you to do analog, extreme, or off. And again, when you do it, it has to do a reboot to set it to clear it. Generally, I stick to analog because, as it says, it sounds more analog, right? Extreme would be a bit more technical sounding. So it's crisper, it's clearer, transients and attacks are sharper. You get a lot more, slightly more dynamics than analog, but not to say analog is not dynamic. Analog just sounds a bit fuller and a bit more rich than extreme. These are minor differences, but play around with it. So if you haven't, again, if your gear is a bit more warm sounding and you want to tighten it up, you need to have that additional bit of punch and oomph. Extreme might be the one for you, or vice versa, with analog. Right? Okay, so at the bottom here is just essentially whatever you're playing. All right. Okay, at the top here, power. So these are the features and the functions of what you would get on your regular drop-down menu, right? Your amp gain, your DAC gain. So now there's line out, which can be disabled or enabled, super gain, and bypass battery, left-right balance. And output, if you're using as a USB DAC, then turn it on, likewise with Bluetooth or Bluetooth DAC, right? And Infinity DSP. Okay. Infinity DSP remasters your track to DSM. Okay, so I need to turn this on, and this is where I'm going to show it to you in a sec. Before I get to that, you can import PEQ. There's already a set list that you can find. If you look at it here, or you can do a search to make it easier, right? So import it, apply it, and a very fast and user-friendly way of doing or applying PEQ to your IEM or your headphone. Replay gain. So this will ensure that all your songs are a consistent volume. Okay, so it's not using EQ, so it doesn't affect the quality of or the resolution of your sound that's coming through or your presentation. But what it does is it prevents sudden volume changes between different tracks. I usually leave it off because I find that having it on, it kind of drops the volume a little bit. Nothing a switch of the volume down or dialing up the volume knob can solve, but I just kind of leave it off. So there is also peak protection, which prevents clipping. Equalizer, if you prefer to do your own equalizing. And a parametric EQ. So again, you can tweak this. I would like to see one of those parametric EQs where you have that little graph and you can just tweak it based on that and you can see the results. I think something to possibly include in the future update. All right, so before I get to DSD Remaster, these are the settings, okay? So settings, essentially, these three buttons at the top are important because if you want to get to Tidal and you're looking at your menu here and you're trying to figure out how do I get to my streaming, you have to press this. So it gets in here and then you can select your songs and do all that. But I sometimes forget where it is, but I've gotten used to it. So this one is brightness, general, okay, allows you to stop charging and all that. I'm not going to go into all this. You can play around with it as you want to. Now, just now when we were talking about DSD, right? It says you need to open Infinity settings. So this is where it's at. So you need to press this, tap on this, and it tells you that some background apps will be uninstalled and then it will be reinstalled when you next boot it up. Pure Play will be locked on, meaning that you are not getting access to your Android OS. So you cannot go to your Play Store, you cannot exit it, you cannot go to YouTube, you cannot go and look at Google Photos or whatever you want to do on Android, right? So it's purely a music player now. When it reboots now, you will see this logo on it to make sure you are aware that you're now in Anantar Ultimate. The functionality that you see in here is the same as if you would on the Android OS. The only difference is button, this one, okay, DSD Remaster. So you can flip it on and it will remaster all your tracks to 256 or DSD 512. And you can change the DSD engine type. Okay, there are a few options for you. And 48 kilohertz compatibility, because sometimes you might hear some noise on certain tracks, so that kind of mitigates that. Again, also, if you want more coloration, now you can make it sound like vinyl or you can make it sound like tube. So there are a few options in terms of vinyl coloration. Pitch, bass, warmth. Likewise, Tube Lover allows you to choose different types of tubes. It emulates it. Okay, Chassis Lover. It emulates bouncing back the sound depending on the chassis of your player, whether it's silver, copper, gold, steel, aluminum, and titanium, right? So depending on the kind of shell that your player has, it has a slight change in terms of the character of the music that you get. So to me, I find this slightly artificial, so I don't really use it, but give it a go, right? It's there. So essentially, that's about it. That covers the entire Anantar Ultimate Infinity player. So let me show you one last thing. You see, I can't pull this back anymore. I cannot go back to Android, right? And the drop down doesn't drop down either. Okay, so that's essentially it. Oh, in the top here, you are able to see your battery power for digital and analog batteries, right? So it splits it up for you. I think that's about it. That covers it. If you have any questions, drop it in the comments below. I'll help you whenever I can. And also look out, if you already have the 9.6, look out for version 10, which I didn't think it was possible, but it actually improves the sound quality even more. All right. Thank you for watching.